We're here with Jeff Nelson, and he's one of the pilots who's going to be speaking today. Jeff, what was the first thing that really caught your eye, so to speak, on this issue and gave you concern?
Well, at first I was in denial. I just thought, it was kind of crazy. I've been seeing contrails since I was a little kid, and all the years of airline teaching weather and so forth. And but it did start me to looking up at the sky, and that's when I started noticing not natural contrails. There's just something that wasn't natural. Contrails don't stay all day long. And when I started seeing this, I started opening my mind and doing a little more research and listening to some of the speakers. And now I'm convinced, there's no doubt about it, there's something going on in the sky that's not natural. I'm sure of that.
Now, being a professional pilot and working for the Highway Patrol, all the different things, you were in the 101st Airborne, I mean, your credentials are impeccable. What is it that, for you, is the part of this issue that you can sort of see a solution or a direction we need to go in to stop this?
Well, it's got to be education to the people, because everybody's going to deny it. I mean, that's just a natural instinct. We don't believe something like this could happen in our country or in the world. And as they get more educated to it and be more aware of what they're seeing in the sky, and I was just talking to a lady today, and I mentioned it, and she said, "Oh, that's just, and poo-pooed it." And so I went and got one of the little brochures, and when I walked in, we were doing a food program for the veterans, and I walked in, about 5 or 6 people all said, "Oh yeah, that's what's happening, and we know all about it and everything." And she was still denying it. And so my last statement to her was, deny, 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 until your grandchildren die. And she just rocked back on her and said, whoa, so she took the flyer.
Well, that's great. Well, we're looking forward to hearing from you today. And anyway, thank you for doing this.
Sure.
We're here with one of the speakers. And Russ, could you give your full name and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Russ Lizouka, and I'm a former commercial pilot. And I flew for Delta for some time, and I have about 3,600 hours in the air. Also, I'm a certified arborist. I'm non-current, but once you're an arborist, I guess you're always an arborist. So I've been, that's basically the heavy-duty part of my background.
Great. Now, have you always been in this area, or did you live other places, and where was that?
I lived quite a number of years in Florida, Central Florida. Then I lived in Phoenix, and then I moved to the Bay Area, Redwood City, for about 4 years now. I've been up in Shasta County since 1994.
Well, now, what was the first thing that really caught your eye about this phenomena, the first thing that caught your eye and caused concern for you?
Well, it really wasn't while I was involved in aviation, believe it or not, because you're looking at a lot of different formation of clouds and things you're not really concerned about as far as chemicals in the air. But since I've been up here in Shasta County and being an arborist contracted to PG&E, my job was to locate hazard trees along power lines and get them removed. And I've noticed the trees are in demise more recently now in the last couple of years than I've ever seen them. They get like a flash burn, which is called fire blight, which is it's like if you took a torch to the leaves or the branch, it'll look torched. But I believe that the chemicals, the heavy chemicals and nanoparticles that are in the air with what some people call chemtrails, and we call it geoengineering, are definitely having an effect on the plant and soils. And there are people that are more involved. I'm not an expert, but people like Dane Whittington that have taken soil samples and water samples. It's proven that the elevations of these chemicals are rising, and of course there's an issue with the ultraviolet rays, which we'll get into later.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for your service, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. We're here with Dr. Stephen Davis, and Doctor, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I've been involved in natural medicine for going on about 40 years now. And in the early 60s, what we had is that Rachel Carlson, who wrote her book, Silent Spring, which kind of launched the environmental movement. I became kind of caught up with some of that information and that knowledge. But in 1994, Theo Colburn wrote a book, and that book was called Our Stolen Future. And what it really is that all the work and all the effort that's been going on has somehow been subverted. And so now we stand today looking up into the sky and wondering what's going on. And it's loaded with chemicals, and some of the chemicals are heavy metals, aluminum and cadmium, beryllium, barium, a few others. And I do an awful lot of work. And so when we're looking at hair analysis, which is a low-level chronic toxicity analysis, I'm beginning to see more and more, particularly in the last 5 years, of our children having a spike of cadmium and aluminum. Now, we thought we had the aluminum under control back in the day by what we did with eliminating some of the foods, and mom's becoming better at that. But now we're seeing more of it starting to spike. So through my colleagues and through some conversations, we're finding that it's actually coming from the air. This nanoparticles of these heavy metals that are being sprayed are actually, we breathe them. And our children who play outside a lot are becoming effective. And what this does is it affects your brain. It actually, we think it has something to do with the spike in the autism in the last 5 years, a 25% spike. We also think it has something to do with some of the dementia that we're seeing. There's been a spike in that as well. So trying to explain what happened in the last 5 years, really we can kind of go back to seeing what's going on in the sky is a player. As far as it is a huge player, of course, but the thing of it is, what do? We need to become aware. We need to become aware that our sky is falling, we're toxic, our food, of course, we've been talking about that for 25 years, but the point is becoming aware of the information and events like this.
What else can people do, say, for their health? Is there some things they can do? And also, do you have any suggestions on how we can get our politicians and our local leaders and our state and federal leaders to listen to us?
Well, it appears that there's some kind of mind-numbing effect that's going on, because the more we talk and the more in front of Congress, it's as if it falls on deaf ears. I think we need to be vigilant. I think we need to make a grassroots effort like this is to get people involved, because, of course, their jobs are reliant upon people voting them in. And they need to become aware, just like we became aware about the pesticide and herbicide issues and then into GMO. Now, of course, we have these things in the sky. So it's as if there's just an ongoing attack. We need to continue to be aware. We need to continue to educate. We need to let folks know that we'd like to see our children grow.
Doctor, thank you so much for your efforts and your time, sir, and we'll be looking forward to hearing you speak probably just about a half an hour here.
Thank you.
Thank you.